If you've ever felt confused, uneasy, or even just quietly misled by how housing works in Canada, well, this explainer is for you. You did everything right. You passed the mortgage stress test, you saved your down payment, and still, something just doesn't feel right, does it? Today, I want to explain exactly why that feeling is totally valid, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. In our last explainer, we covered a hard truth. Canada's mortgage stress test checks you, but it doesn't really check the home you're buying. And a lot of you asked, okay, so what's the real risk then? That's what today is all about. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the issue. The entire system is built to stress test you, your job, your credit score, your personal budget. But it almost completely ignores the financial health of the actual asset you're about to pour your life savings into. This isn't just a small oversight, it's the system's biggest blind spot. And that blind spot? It has a name. It's called asset level risk. It's all the financial danger that's hiding inside the property itself. So, what is asset level risk? Put simply, it has absolutely nothing to do with your income or your credit score. It's the risk that the building you buy into could become a financial black hole, even if your own finances are rock solid.
And that's because you're not just getting a mortgage, right? You are buying into an entire building, a complex cost structure, and a shared financial ecosystem with every single one of your neighbors. And if that system, that asset, is fragile, believe me, your personal financial strength won't be enough to protect you.
Okay, so let's make this real. We're going to break down this big, abstract idea of asset level risk into 5 concrete suspects that you absolutely need to investigate before you even think about signing that offer.
First up, maintenance risk. Look, every building is a machine, and parts of that machine will break. Roofs, elevators, windows, you name it. It's not a matter of if it'll happen, but when it'll happen, and who's going to pay for it. And in a condo, that spending isn't optional, it's mandatory, and you don't get a choice.
Second on our list is cost volatility risk. You know, the stress test makes it seem like your costs will be nice and predictable, but real life in a building just doesn't work that way. Problems don't lead to slow, gentle fee increases. They lead to sudden, shocking special assessments that can come out of nowhere. Your affordability doesn't just erode, it can shatter in one of these painful spikes.
Suspect number 3 is governance risk, and this one is so tricky because it's invisible. You might have a well-meaning condo board that's terrified of raising fees, so they don't. They kick the can down the road on important repairs to keep everyone happy. But that problem doesn't go away. It just gets bigger and way more expensive for the next owner, which could be you. You inherit every decision they ever made.
Number 4 is a big one, insurance dependency risk. A building's entire financial plan can be completely wrecked by its insurance. Just one major claim, a fire, a flood, can cause premiums and deductibles to just skyrocket for every single person in the building. And these costs are totally out of your control, they happen fast, and they are wildly unpredictable.
And finally, our 5th suspect, exit risk. Think of this as your escape plan. If costs in the building start to spiral out of control, how easy is it for you to sell and get out? The truth is, buildings with crazy high fees and a history of financial problems become toxic. They're hard to sell, which means you could get trapped in a rapidly depreciating, high-cost investment.
Okay, I know that was a lot of doom and gloom, but here's the good news, the really empowering part. All of these risks, they are visible. You just have to know where to look. So let's open up the toolkit and talk about how you can make these invisible risks totally visible.
If you are thinking of buying a condo, listen up. These 5 documents are completely non-negotiable. Do not, under any circumstances, make an offer without getting your hands on every single one of these and reading them carefully. Let's break down what you're looking for.
First, that reserve fund study. Don't just glance at the total amount in the bank. That number can be really misleading. You need to ask, when was this study even done? Are its assumptions about inflation and construction costs based in reality, or are they from 5 years ago? And most importantly, what are the big, expensive repairs coming down the pipeline? A huge bank balance means nothing without a realistic plan.
Now here's a quick and dirty trick anyone can do, a fast reality check. Just take the total reserve fund balance and divide it by the number of units in the building. This little table gives you a rough guide, but honestly, if you do that math and the number you see is under $5,000 per unit, that is a massive flashing red light. It means there's basically no cushion for anything that goes wrong.
And this is the key takeaway I want you to remember. When you see low condo fees paired with a low reserve fund, that is not a sign of affordability. It is almost always a sign of deferred financial pain, and you're the one who will eventually have to pay that bill. Next up, you need to get at least 1 to 2 years of board meeting minutes. Seriously, this is where the gold is buried. You're basically a detective reading the building's diary. Look for patterns. Are the same problems, like a leaky roof, brought up meeting after meeting with no resolution? Are you seeing words like deferred or monitoring all the time? That's code for kicking the can down the road. These minutes show you the building's real culture, not the sales pitch. Okay, once you've done your reading, you're armed with the knowledge to ask smart questions. And these aren't aggressive, they're just what any prudent buyer should ask. Start with this one. It shows you're thinking about the long-term health of the building, not just the granite countertops.
Here's another fantastic question. This one cuts right to the chase. It's basically asking, is your financial plan based in reality or is it a fantasy? Because if their entire plan is built on pre-inflation numbers from years ago, then that plan is already a work of fiction. And finally, ask them how they plan to handle a sudden, massive insurance hike. Do they even have a strategy? Now pay close attention to how they answer. If the answers you get are vague, or they get defensive, or they just brush it off, that's your answer. It's telling you they don't have a plan.
So all of this leads us to the moment of truth, the verdict. And this is where we have to completely reframe what it means to win when you're house hunting.
If the agent is dragging their feet getting you these documents, if your totally valid concerns are dismissed with, that's just normal for a building this age, or if you look at the financials and the numbers just don't make sense, these are not small issues. These are giant red flags telling you it is time to walk away. And I want you to really hear this. Walking away after doing your homework isn't a loss. It's a massive win. You just successfully identified and avoided a predictable, expensive, and stressful financial trap that could have derailed your life for years to come. You didn't lose the property, you dodged a bullet.
Look, this channel exists for one simple reason. I break down the Canadian housing blind spots that nobody ever explains, and I do it in plain English. Every week, it's one system, one blind spot, one thing you are never taught. If you leave now, you're just going to miss the next one. Remember this, the bank already confirmed that you are financially sound. The real question you need to answer is whether the property can say the same. If this explainer helped you feel more grounded, more informed, and more in control, then we're doing our job. And next up, we're tackling mortgage renewal shock, what I call the real stress test in Canada.